Are the drinks in your daily routine making your prostate symptoms worse, without you realizing it? If you're a man over 60 and you've noticed you're waking up multiple times a night just to pee, dealing with uncomfortable pressure, or always searching for the nearest bathroom, you're not alone. These symptoms are classic signs of benign prostatic hyperplasia, BPH, a non-cancerous enlargement of the prostate that's incredibly common as men age. But here's what most people don't realize. Your daily beverage choices can make those symptoms significantly worse. Some drinks can irritate the bladder, increase inflammation, and even mess with your hormones, creating a perfect storm for prostate discomfort. So let's take a closer look at the 8 worst drinks for prostate health, and how they're quietly undermining your well-being. 1. Energy drinks, a surge of stimulants that inflame the prostate. Energy drinks are marketed as performance boosters, but for your prostate they're a ticking time bomb. They often contain high levels of caffeine, taurine, sugar, and synthetic stimulants, all of which can inflame the urinary tract and overstimulate the bladder. Caffeine increases urinary urgency, and the excessive sugar promotes systemic inflammation, which further aggravates BPH symptoms. Plus, these drinks can elevate stress hormones like cortisol, which has been linked to prostate tissue growth. Not exactly what you want when your prostate is already pressing on your bladder. 2. Sugary fruit juices, hidden sugar in a healthy disguise. At first glance, fruit juice seems like a smart, natural choice. After all, it comes from fruit, right? But the reality is that most store-bought fruit juices are a concentrated source of fructose, a type of sugar that, when consumed in excess, can fuel inflammation throughout the body, especially in the prostate. Let's take apple juice as an example. 1 cup contains roughly 24 grams of sugar, which is almost the same as a can of soda. Orange juice? Not far behind. Even juices labeled 100% fruit juice lack the fiber that naturally occurs in whole fruit, fiber that normally helps slow down sugar absorption and prevent blood sugar spikes. Without it, your body gets a sugar rush that leads to insulin surges and inflammation. And for a prostate already struggling with BPH, that added inflammation only worsens swelling and pressure. Worse still, fructose has been shown in studies to raise levels of uric acid, a compound that doesn't just affect your joints, it also plays a role in oxidative stress and hormone imbalances. That's a big deal because hormonal regulation is critical to prostate health. If testosterone or estrogen levels are thrown off, it can stimulate abnormal growth of prostate tissue. And then there's the healthy trap. Juice blends marketed as antioxidant-rich or fortified with vitamins. These often contain added sugars, concentrates, and flavor enhancers, none of which are beneficial for your prostate. Even cranberry juice, which is commonly associated with urinary health, can backfire if it's sweetened or artificially flavored. To put it simply, fruit juice is best consumed in its original form, whole fruit. You get the fiber, the nutrients, and a slower release of natural sugars, without overwhelming your system. If you do want a juice, go for a small amount of fresh-pressed, unsweetened juice diluted with water, and always read the label. Because sometimes the healthiest option on the shelf is the one quietly making your symptoms worse. 3. Diet sodas, artificial sweeteners, real problems. Diet sodas might seem like a safer alternative to their sugary counterparts, especially for those watching their calorie intake or managing diabetes. But when it comes to prostate health, that zero-calorie label hides a far more complicated and concerning story. The real issue isn't what's missing, it's what's been added. Most diet sodas contain artificial sweeteners like aspartame, sucralose, or saccharin, ingredients that don't raise blood sugar but can still wreak havoc on your body in other ways. These compounds have been shown to irritate the bladder, disrupt the gut microbiome, and may even interfere with hormone regulation. That last one is particularly important for men dealing with BPH, where hormonal balance plays a central role in prostate tissue growth. Beyond sweeteners, diet sodas often include phosphoric acid and chemical preservatives that increase acidity in the body. High acidity can promote inflammation, one of the core drivers behind prostate swelling. The combination of acidity and chemical additives creates an environment where the prostate and urinary tract are constantly under low-level stress, leading to more frequent urges, incomplete emptying of the bladder, and nighttime disruptions. One study even found that regular consumption of artificially sweetened beverages was linked to increased urgency and frequency of urination, particularly in men over 50. This is especially troubling because diet sodas are often consumed in large quantities under the assumption that they're harmless. But drinking 2 or 3 cans a day can gradually add up to a steady hormonal and inflammatory burden on your body. For those already dealing with BPH, this means more interrupted sleep, more discomfort, and more reliance on medications to manage symptoms. And for men not yet showing symptoms, it could accelerate the onset of prostate problems earlier than expected. 4. Alcohol, the double trouble for prostate and bladder. Alcohol doesn't just impact your liver or your coordination. It plays a quiet but powerful role in aggravating prostate issues, especially for men with BPH. Let's break down why it's such a dangerous double act when it comes to both the bladder and the prostate. First, alcohol is a potent diuretic. This means that even a single glass of wine or a bottle of beer signals your kidneys to flush out more water than usual. That might not sound like a big deal, until you realize it leads to increased urination frequency, often right when you're trying to wind down or sleep. For men already struggling with nighttime urination, nocturia, adding alcohol to the mix practically guarantees multiple sleep interruptions. Then there's the bladder irritation factor. Alcohol, particularly in the form of beer, wine, and spirits, can inflame the delicate tissues of the bladder wall. It lowers your bladder's threshold for urgency and can increase spasms or that persistent need-to-go feeling, even when your bladder isn't full. For those with an enlarged prostate already narrowing the urethra, this leads to frustration, discomfort, and the constant urge to relieve yourself, even if you just did. But here's where alcohol becomes even trickier. It interferes with hormonal balance. Your prostate is a hormone-sensitive gland, and maintaining healthy testosterone and estrogen levels is crucial to preventing further enlargement. Chronic alcohol consumption can disrupt the endocrine system, reduce testosterone production, and indirectly promote the kind of hormonal shifts that lead to accelerated prostate growth. Over time, this hormonal chaos can worsen BPH symptoms and potentially complicate treatment. And let's not ignore its effect on inflammation. Alcohol, especially in excessive or regular amounts, contributes to systemic inflammation, a known driver of prostate discomfort. Even moderate drinking can stimulate inflammatory pathways in the body, further aggravating the already sensitive tissues of the urinary and reproductive systems. So while the occasional drink might seem harmless, regular alcohol intake, particularly in the evening, can be a major contributor to poor sleep, increased bathroom visits, and prolonged discomfort. The connection between what's in your glass and how your prostate behaves isn't just theoretical. It's felt in every restless night, every interrupted sleep cycle, and every frustrated trip to the bathroom. 5. Black tea, a surprisingly irritating beverage. At first glance, black tea feels like a smart, soothing alternative to coffee, especially if you're trying to scale back on your caffeine intake. It's elegant, it's herbal, and it has that rich, calming aroma. But for men dealing with an enlarged prostate, black tea may not be the friend it seems. Despite being lower in caffeine than coffee, black tea still contains enough caffeine to irritate the bladder and increase urinary urgency. The problem isn't just frequency, it's that gotta go now sensation that hits without warning. Caffeine acts as a mild diuretic and stimulant, pushing your kidneys to produce more urine and sending your bladder into overdrive. But caffeine isn't the only culprit in that cup. Black tea contains compounds known as tannins, which are astringent polyphenol that can have a drying effect on tissues. In sensitive individuals, these tannins may irritate the lining of the bladder and worsen symptoms of BPH. While tannins can have antioxidant properties, their impact on the urinary tract, especially in high doses, can be counterproductive for men already dealing with discomfort and inflammation. Another hidden issue? Oxalates. Black tea is naturally high in oxalates, which are compounds that can contribute to kidney stones in susceptible individuals. Kidney stress, although separate from the prostate, can compound urinary issues, especially when your urinary system is already struggling to keep up. If you drink several cups a day or consume it with other bladder stimulants like sugar or lemon, the combined effects can significantly ramp up irritation. And since black tea often gets paired with milk or cream, dairy can introduce additional inflammation-triggering compounds, especially for men who are mildly lactose intolerant without even realizing it. So while a cup of black tea might feel like a healthy upgrade, it may quietly be amplifying the very symptoms you're trying to manage. If you're committed to warm, comforting drinks, consider herbal options like chamomile, peppermint, or nettle tea, each known for their calming, anti-inflammatory properties without the caffeine content or bladder-irritating compounds. 6. Packaged protein shakes, sneaky additives that worsen inflammation. Now let's talk about something that hides in plain sight, the protein shake you grab after a workout or on your way out the door. On the surface, it seems like a healthy choice, high protein, convenient, maybe even labeled as clean or performance boosting. But dig a little deeper and you'll find a cocktail of ingredients that could be quietly inflaming your prostate. Most packaged protein shakes are ultra-processed, meaning they're designed to last on shelves for months. To do that, manufacturers add preservatives, thickeners, stabilizers, and artificial sweeteners, none of which your body and especially your prostate handles well. These additives can trigger an immune response, subtly increasing inflammation over time. For someone with BPH, even low-grade chronic inflammation can worsen symptoms like pelvic discomfort and urinary urgency. Then there's the sugar factor. Many of these shakes, yes, even the low-sugar ones, are sweetened with sorbitol, sucralose, or high-fructose corn syrup. These ingredients can disrupt gut bacteria, which play a surprisingly important role in regulating hormones like testosterone and estrogen. Hormonal imbalance is one of the key drivers of prostate enlargement, so anything that messes with that system is best avoided. And we can't ignore the type of protein used. Some shakes rely heavily on soy protein isolate, a highly processed derivative that's been linked to phytoestrogen activity, basically plant compounds that mimic estrogen in the body. While research is mixed, there's concern that excessive intake of these compounds might disrupt male hormone balance over time, potentially exacerbating prostate issues. Even the packaging itself can be a problem. Many single-use plastic bottles are made with BPA or BPS, chemical compounds that can leach into the drink and act as endocrine disruptors. Again, something you absolutely don't want if you're managing prostate health. So if you're committed to protein supplementation, consider making your own shakes at home using clean ingredients. Organic whey or pea protein, unsweetened almond milk, and anti-inflammatory add-ins like turmeric, cinnamon, or flaxseed. Not only will this give you better control over what goes into your body, but it could also help reduce the silent triggers that are keeping your prostate irritated. And remember, sometimes the most fit-looking options are the most deceiving when it comes to internal health. 7. Coffee, a morning ritual that might be making things worse. Coffee isn't just a beverage, it's a ritual. For millions of men, that first cup in the morning feels like a sacred start to the day. But for those dealing with an enlarged prostate, that steaming mug might be doing more harm than good. Caffeine, the powerhouse behind coffee's energizing effect, is also a potent bladder stimulant. It increases the frequency and urgency of urination, something most men with BPH are already struggling with. And it doesn't stop there. Caffeine can also tighten the bladder muscle, making you feel the need to urinate more often, even when your bladder isn't full. This creates a frustrating cycle. More coffee means more urgency, which means more discomfort and sleep disruptions. But it's not just the caffeine. Coffee is also naturally acidic, which can irritate the lining of the bladder and the urethra. That irritation can worsen the sensation of urgency and lead to more frequent bathroom trips. If you're already dealing with a swollen prostate that's pressing on the urethra, the last thing you need is more irritation in the same area. And here's where it gets even trickier. Many men load their coffee with extras: sugar, cream, flavored syrups. These additives, especially sugar and artificial creamers, are known to fuel systemic inflammation, which can further worsen BPH symptoms. It's like pouring gasoline on a smoldering fire, innocent in appearance but problematic in effect. So what's the solution? For some, cutting out coffee altogether may feel extreme. But even reducing your intake to a small morning cup, or switching to low-acid, half-caffeinated or decaf blends, can make a noticeable difference. Consider replacing that second or third cup with herbal alternatives like rooibos or dandelion tea. You still get a warm, comforting beverage, without the urinary consequences. And for those stubborn coffee lovers who just can't quit it, timing matters. Having your coffee earlier in the day instead of late morning or afternoon gives your body more time to flush out the caffeine before bedtime, potentially reducing those disruptive nighttime trips to the bathroom. It's not about total elimination, it's about smart moderation. 8. Carbonated soft drinks, bubbles and chemicals that disrupt your system. They might taste like nostalgia in a can, refreshing, fizzy, and addictive, but carbonated soft drinks are among the most damaging beverages for prostate and bladder health. On the surface, it's easy to think the problem lies only in the sugar. And yes, regular sodas are often packed with high-fructose corn syrup, which promotes widespread inflammation, weight gain, and insulin resistance, all of which contribute to hormone imbalances that fuel the growth of prostate tissue. But even diet sodas and sugar-free fizzy drinks carry risks. These contain artificial sweeteners such as aspartame or sucralose, which may irritate the bladder lining, increase urinary urgency, and potentially disrupt your gut microbiome, a key player in managing hormonal balance and inflammation. Think about that. Something as small as your daily cola could be feeding a feedback loop that worsens both your prostate condition and your overall hormonal health. Now let's talk about the bubbles, the carbonation itself. That fizz comes from carbonic acid, which can create pressure in the bladder and irritate its sensitive lining, especially in men already dealing with urinary symptoms. Combine that with the acidity of many soft drinks, and you have a beverage that's not just mildly irritating, it's a chemical cocktail designed to disrupt. Some colas also contain phosphoric acid, which not only contributes to acidity but has been linked in studies to lower bone density and kidney stress. That's two more body systems being strained by something as simple as soda. Then there are the additives you'll rarely notice on the label: preservatives, artificial flavors, and food dyes, all of which your liver has to process. When your liver is overburdened, it can't efficiently regulate hormone levels, leading to higher estrogen and lower testosterone, another key factor in BPH progression. What's especially concerning is how easily soda consumption becomes habitual. Many men sip them with meals, during commutes, or as a midday pick-me-up, unaware they're feeding a cycle of inflammation and irritation that leads to restless nights and relentless bathroom trips. And while a single soda won't destroy your health, consistent consumption over months or years absolutely adds up. The body keeps score, even if the symptoms don't show up immediately. So what should you drink instead? Start with plain filtered water. Hydration is key to flushing toxins and reducing bladder irritation. Then consider herbal teas like chamomile, rooibos, or even saw palmetto tea, which are known for their soothing anti-inflammatory effects. Adding a dedicated prostate health app into your daily routine can help track symptoms, guide you on diet choices, and even remind you when to hydrate properly. Making small swaps, like trading your daily coffee for herbal tea or ditching soda for lemon-infused water, can lead to major improvements in comfort and sleep quality. Your drink choices might seem like small details, but they can have a huge impact on how your body feels every day. Especially if you're dealing with BPH, understanding what not to drink could be the key to finally getting relief. If this video helped you, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more health and wellness breakdowns, and check the links in the description for tools and resources to start building your own prostate-friendly diet. Your future self and your bladder will thank you.